Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of More Money. Today I have with me Lainie Hodges. We're going to talk about how she's connecting to her future self. She took the workshop, which is my book, Double Your Business, is based on. So if you like what she has to say, you can always go pre-order that on Amazon, Double Your Business. So welcome, Lainie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi.
Happy to be here today.
Yeah, so excited to have you. So first, just tell us who is Lainie Hodges? What do you do? What makes you awesome? All that fun stuff.
So my name is Lainie Hodges. I'm a human development specialist and teaching artist. So I use the power of performance and improvisation, games and exercises to create environments where people can grow and develop. So I use the power of performance to help people change their lives and become more of who they want to be in life as well, similar to what you do in that aspect.
That's awesome. And so before, I was like to get the picture, before you took the workshop, what was going on in your business? How were things going? What were you thinking?
I had wanted to work with you for a while, seeing your success, continually reading your books, being on your mailing list and always watching and learning more from you and seeing how your clients excelled as well when they started to work with you. So it was always on my radar, and then it was determining when the point was right in my career in order to do so. And I can't remember exactly what the catalyst was because I actually had just left a part-time job when we did the workshop. So maybe it was that I received that grant to do some programming that I've been wanting for a long time. I think I just had a little bit more stability there and decided like, this is it. Plus it was around my birthday, so it was a gift to myself. And I wanted to do it because my business had been building slowly, and I wanted to accelerate that growth and felt like this is the time where I'm really ready to step into this and challenge myself with your workshop. And I also didn't quite know what I was getting into, but I knew it was going to be great for my work, great for my business, and great for my own personal growth.
I love that. I love that it was the investment. I don't think I'd ever actually heard that. Like the birthday gift, the birthday investment to yourself, which is amazing.
Yes.
And so I think you highlighted this a little bit, but what was your intention for your business and yourself as you signed up for the workshop and decided to take that next step?
Before the workshop, because I wasn't sure what the workshop would end up being, and I had a picture in my mind of what it might be. And I believe that picture was, Cassie will teach me these tricks and tips to manifesting. And, that's going to be the thing that catapults my business. And that definitely was part of it, and not tricks, but you taught me things that I could do to help me step into my future self. And I learned so much more about what I was creating in my own life through my own thinking and beliefs up to that date that was holding me back from really stepping into my future self. So I wanted to learn whatever I could to kind of get over this hump that I'd been on and had started to get over by winning that grant. And so I also wanted to ride that momentum to a certain degree as well.
I love that. Yeah. No one ever quite knows what they're getting into. What were your biggest leaps or opportunities that appeared after you took the workshop?
After I took the workshop, I received an opportunity to teach an improv course consistently for a local middle school, which was not something that I had necessarily been actively pursuing with any schools. It was a principal that I had worked with previously doing some professional development for her staff, who came to me with a need for some students who were not enjoying the other electives that they were in. And she felt like improv would be a really great tool for them to engage with and learn and grow. And she came to me with the offer of, would you like to teach a class? And absolutely, I would love to. So it was an opportunity, one of the ways in which money can show up that you aren't planning on or trying to make happen. It just came into my existence by the energy I was putting out there. So that was one opportunity that came up, which has now turned into a consistent opportunity. We just picked up an additional teaching the class again this year, and then the principal gave me an additional section just last week of students. So that is now also growing with that opportunity. And then I also received another opportunity with a professional athletic team that I had been really desiring to come about based on the philosophy of the team and knowing how they approach the sport as well as the business. And it hadn't worked out in previous years. So some groundwork was laid, the foundation, but this really pushed me into a space where I felt much more confident reapproaching the idea come spring about what I had to offer and how it was going to help their players. And I got the opportunity, very similarly to how we worked on it and scripted it in the workshop.
I love that. I love both of those examples because people think I can't just change who I'm being and have things show up, but you stepped into it. And part of what we scripted was schools and different things. And really this future 5 years from now, what kind of programming would you be running? So it wasn't a surprise because I knew something amazing would happen, but like that showed up, like just dropped into your lap. And how did that feel different than sort of what maybe you'd done in the past in your business where you'd gone after and you tried to figure out like, how do I get in? How do I do this?
So much of it before had been pushing, trying to make it happen, kind of throwing things against the wall and let's just see what sticks. And my focus and my energy was kind of all over the place. Whereas with this, it felt so amazing and continues to feel amazing when people now are coming to me saying, we want you to work with us. We want you to help us with this issue rather than me having to go out there and garner new business. It's just coming right to me by being confident in what I'm doing, being able to speak more confidently about it as well, and having much more clarity on exactly what I want to do, who I want to work with, what's the difference that I want to make. I really was all over the place before and really didn't have any type of vision of what I wanted my life to look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years. I hadn't given a ton of thought to that. So getting much more clarity on that really helped as well.
I love that. And you brought up the thing, with the professional team, it's like you had the confidence to reapproach them and to do that. And I think would you say that's one of the biggest things that you gained through the process in the workshop?
Absolutely. It helped me I just remember being on the call this time as opposed to another team that I continue to work with. But that phone call, he really put me through the ringer and I appreciated it. I was able to answer all of the questions and there was a level of anxiety and some thoughts in the back of my head. Did I answer that well enough? Did he get what I was saying? And just kind of concerned, does this make any sense? It's a little bit, okay, it's a lot radical. It's out there, the work that I do. And this time with the new team that I knew was interested, I could speak so clearly and concisely about how I could work and support the players that it was I remember receiving the email from his assistant, and her energy in the email was almost this concern of, oh my gosh, are you already booked? Can we get you out here during these dates? I hope that you can make it. There was such urgency on their end to get me out there that I was like, yes, they get it. So yeah, that was really rewarding and just felt exciting to experience in my career.
Absolutely. And another place where people's, we're coming after you, like that energy of you bringing them in instead of going out and forcing it and trying to make it happen and all these other things.
Absolutely. I think it's helped me to, when I find myself now in a place where I'm trying to press something, I really just allow it to be what it is and no longer, and it's part of my improv training too, when I get a no that doesn't feel defeating to me anymore, I'll just reevaluate and maybe try a different way or tweak this according to what my gut and my intuition is telling me to do, and trusting that it's always going to work out. I've never, as many times in the beginning as I was stressed out at points about money and can I cover my bills this month, and is enough money going to be coming in, etc. And then every time it's always worked out. And so just remembering, like, what are the money mantras that Cassie has taught me, and remembering that every other time it has worked out, and just really trusting in that and having faith. And when I let that energy come through as opposed to the fear and the anxiety and the blocking off, then things show up. I'd forgotten too that in a couple of months after we worked together as well, another opportunity with a company that I am a facilitator for came up as well that I wasn't expecting either. That was another additional about $1,000 a month income for a few months. And all of this money that kept coming in was helping me to pay off a debt that had been holding me back for at least 4 years, particularly energetically. So that was all of a sudden, within months, taken care of.
How did that feel?
Incredible. Sometimes I still stop and reflect on it. I'm like, wow, I really paid that back that quickly. I thought it was going to take me over 2 years, and I did it in 13 months.
It's amazing.
Yes.
That's awesome. Because your business kept growing and growing and growing, right?
Yes. And so I had so much money every month that I could put very large chunks into paying off the money that I owed, to where very quickly it was taken care of.
I love it.
And it was enough money that I had come like June, July, that I really didn't have to work this summer, because I work with a lot of school clients and they're not on, obviously, in the summer. And so I basically had the teacher schedule where I could have the summer off.
That's awesome. So lots of free time.
Yes.
And yet you still have lots of free time in your day. You do a lot of things, but your days are also, they kind of flow, and they have space in them for lunch or breakfast or, different fun things, right?
Absolutely. And the working with you helped me to let go of some of the stress and anxiety and pressure I would put on myself on a day-to-day basis of, am I doing enough? Am I sending enough emails? Am I creating enough programs? Am I working hard enough? Where we worked on, how do I want my day-to-day to look like? And honestly, in my day-to-day, I want a lot of free time, so that if I want to watch an episode of House Hunters, that I have the time for that, and I don't feel guilty about it anymore, whereas I used to. So I feel really proud of how I've been able to set up my life and my business and pay all my bills at the same time. So
I love that. That's awesome. How did you feel before? I don't think I know the answer to this, but instead of proud, how were you feeling about your business?
Uncertain, really uncertain. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Did I receive the right messages that I felt I was receiving when I made the choice to leave my steady job and go back out on my own, because I had been an entrepreneur before in New York City in a very challenging field of sports counseling and mental training in a very tough city that's not necessarily sports oriented as some other places in the US. And I had a really tough time when I was doing that, because I had such a lack and scarcity mentality. And even though the universe, as I reflect on it now, was sending me really high level clients and putting me in wonderful positions, I couldn't see it then. And I didn't have enough confidence in what I was doing either to really help that to grow and be successful. And I don't regret it. It all led me down paths that have gotten me here today. But I did experience those emotions when I went back out on my own again this time. And my experience since I did the workshop has been vastly different from that.
That is so powerful, especially because I know who some of your former clients were. And you're right. Like, the universe is handing it up on the silver platter, but if we can't see it, it doesn't matter, right? If all that other stuff is clouding our vision, like clean the glasses off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's so true. Like, I hadn't put that together until you said that.
Mm-hmm.
What activity or what do you think had the biggest impact on your growth? Was there any particular activity that you think accelerated or just stood out as having a super big importance?
I would say the activity of scripting really shifted a lot for me, and really just, I forget the term that you called it, maybe like brain drain or something like that, where we were literally like reworking the neural pathways in my brain. Yeah. And that was the work. And the work that I wasn't expecting, or I didn't know that was going to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And you can feel it happening. Yeah. And also your support through that of being like, hey, this is normal. And remembering every time I've been up leveling that can be a part of it, that your brain is working to think in a different way. And I'm reworking the way my brain has worked for over 30 years, right, which was pretty much a lack and scarcity and fear mentality into one of love and joy and excitement and freedom and everything that I set out to feel or wanted to feel by having my own business. I hadn't nailed down how I was going to feel when I made the choice to leave, but more clarity on that and always continually tapping into those emotions as much as possible has also helped to shift things a lot, particularly when thinking about, love and how can we turn this to love and acting with love and creating love and all of that. That was probably one of the greatest shifts for me in the work, and continues to be. That is an ongoing, every day I am working on that consistently.
I love that. So good. Yeah. So that was I love that because it's, there's certain things that come out that are sort of uniquely yours. Anyone can choose love every day, and that's like the thing, but like that theme that evolved and like, this is the path that's going to take you straight to your future self and help you tap into her every day. Like, that part is uniquely, like, not everybody leaves with that exact piece. And that's just, I love that. And I love always remembering when I see you say it or when I hear you say it. It's so awesome.
Yes.
And that made me think of, I remember when you were in the workshop and you said something like, oh, this isn't how I was scripting before or something, because you had done it before, right? You would kind of, and I always like to bring this up because I think some people are out there feeling like, well, I've done it. Like, why isn't it working for me? Like I did what she said. And so you had done it too, right?
Yes. I think I've had plenty of times when I've been like, I'm doing everything the law of attraction stuff tells me to do, but why isn't it working? And you posted something yesterday about this. I think it was yesterday, where you said something like, it doesn't really matter that you manifest for an hour. It matters what you do for the other 23.
Yeah.
And I had not tapped into quite how to do that. And the way I was scripting, I was not tapping into emotions. I think I was overcomplicating it. And just the way that you had me do it really simplified the process so that it was easier to do on a more consistent basis.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here are the pieces. Because I work well with good direction. And so your process provided that.
Awesome. So how do you step into your future self every day? Since we just had that conversation about the 23 hours, how have you noticed that you've brought your manifesting game to all 24 hours of your life?
For me, it really starts with taking care of myself as best I can, because my future self does that. And you know me, I've had a lot of health stuff going on for, maybe the past, 7 years or so, actually even longer than that. And making that commitment to take care of myself as best I can around my diet and sleep and exercise, that's my foundation that has really created an easy way for me to step into my future self, because she takes care of herself. So I've definitely become more consistent with that too, as well as taking on some new challenges in taking care of myself, where I was always doing yoga or spin. All of a sudden this year I was like, well, maybe I can do those HIIT classes, even though I had this huge aversion to flipping tires. I'll never do that. Not tires.
That's awesome.
And I've started taking, it's a boxing class, but it also has a cycle before it where we're working out with different weights. And that has been transformative for me. And I don't know that before the workshop, I would have thought oh, this is who I am. And I go into boxing class now and feel like a badass when I hear the gloves
awesome.
hitting the pads. And I'm even getting up. The class is at 6 a.m. And I've only been going once a week, and made the choice last week. I was I think I'm going to start going twice a week.
Wow.
And that's physically helping me to step into my future self. I would say that at this point, I look and feel the best that I ever have in my life.
That's awesome.
And that's a lot of self-care. And I've gotten much better in the practice of when I'm in a space where I feel like my future self would be, or interacting with people that my future self would interact with, really tuning into that and having gratitude for it, and then asking for more. And in that space being yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. So when I was in New York last month and it was my birthday, and I found myself in a, $5 million loft in Soho having cocktails and celebrating, and rather than walking into that space and feeling intimidated by it, I looked around and was exactly.
Yes.
Or at the gala I was at on the 34th floor overlooking Central Park. Yes, this is exactly where I am supposed to be. So really tapping into that and asking for that or better.
I love that. And I can only imagine, I don't know if you made, business contacts there, but when you go into any space like that, and there is the opportunity that somebody's in the room, when you show up like you belong there, you're going to have a better impression. You're going to get more business if that's who you're supposed to work with. You're going to get all those other things too. Not just
Absolutely.
The experience feels better, but when you show up more confident, everything else goes better too.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember the guy sitting next to me at the table I hadn't met before. He was with this national organization, but in the San Francisco office. And he asked me, what do I do and why was I there? And at that point, I'd only had an initial conversation with this organization about becoming one of their teaching artists, which wasn't finalized until last week. However, in the conversation, I said, I am a teaching artist for this organization, rather than saying, I'm going to be. I was nope, I am.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, so fun. So what advice would you give somebody who feels stuck in their business and feels, I don't know, just like they have that lack, or they don't know if they're doing the right things?
I would start with always trusting that intuitive voice that guided you to take the leap in entrepreneurship in the first place. It's not for the faint of heart. It's something that will challenge you to grow every day. And that's part of the journey of it, and the joy and the excitement of it and the unknown of it. And if you can work with that as opposed to be scared of it, there's so many possibilities out there for you. And getting assistance, help, guidance, coaching from somewhere, someone, I think is really valuable. We can go far alone, but we go so much further and faster when we have help from someone else, particularly someone who's, for me, I really wanted to work with you because I'd been watching your business just like explode with in such a great way, like more clients, more money, more of a difference you were making. And I watched you do that as you tailored who you were working with. So it was like, oh, the more clarity Cassie gets, the more money Cassie's making. So how can I do that? And I just knew that the workshop was going to be that step. And I want to continue doing that every year, doing something that's going to help me to grow my business in some sort of investment. So, whether that's a mastermind or, one-on-one coaching, all of that I think is really essential to continued growth and development. And, for this year, my investment is the international class that I'm in right now, where it's practitioners from all over the globe who use performance as a developmental tool. And that's why I was in New York last month, and we'll return there in February and then again in June. So having just that like-mindedness around you really helps to move things forward, because we can get so stuck in our head and our fears and our worries and all that, especially if we're entrepreneurs who are a little isolated to home, unless we're working in co-working spaces or something like that. So I think it just helps to open up the possibilities when you get support and work with someone else.
Definitely. And I love the way that you said that, because it's like I want to so I can grow. It's not that I think I have to do this. It's not like I got to take this class to figure it out anymore. Like you've really stepped into, like, I do this because I want to, not because I think I have to.
Correct.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, tell everybody how they can connect with you. A little bit of the specifics about if somebody's wondering, like, well, I wonder if she'd work with my company or anything like that. Tell us how to connect, and a little bit more about specifically who your clients are.
So you can learn more about me and the work that I do on my website, which is www.lainiehodges.com. And that would be LAINIEHODGES. There are many ways to spell Lainie, and mine's a little unique. So LAINIEHODGES.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn, and there I also share some writings about the work that I do and how performance and development can help people to grow and learn. And you can follow me on Instagram, Hodge_Podge18, where that's just a little glimpse into my life as I, travel the world and try and inspire people by either the images that I post or the messages that I share. And in terms of the clients that I work with, I do like to say that whatever your issue is, tell me what it is, and I can always create and design a workshop that will address it through various improv games. That's the beauty of improvisation, is there are endless possibilities in not only the games that could be chosen to facilitate a workshop, but then what actually happens within those games. And a lot of people have fear when I say the word improv or improvisation. and they think, well, I'm not Wayne Brady and I'm not funny, so I can't do it. And really what we do is improvise every day. You and I are improvising this conversation. I had no idea what questions you were going to ask, and you had no idea what my responses were going to be, but we are using the principles of listening to each other and accepting what the other is offering and then building with that offer. That's really what improv is. So we do it every day. I like to help people to do it with more intention, to help them get more of what they want out of life. So I'm also one of those people that prefers to focus on places with the most red tape because they are the places I see that really need the most development. So traditionally, I've worked in a lot of public schools. Most of them have been Title I, as well as with athletes. And those athletes are typically coming from a space where they've only been encouraged to develop the athletic side of themselves, not the human side of themselves. So I create opportunities for them to do that. And then I've also worked with public agencies like police officers and community work. And then I've also worked with businesses as well. It's really improv and performance can be applied anywhere and everywhere. So if someone's interested in learning more about it, I'd be more than happy, to hop on the phone or a video call and share more about the joy of improv and how it changes not only my clients' lives, but I can speak to this and you can too, because you've done improv. It is one of the most transformative and joyful tools one can use to grow. So I encourage, whether you contact me or if someone goes and takes like a drop-in class or even watches an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyways, just get a little improv into your life and it will bring you joy.
That's so true. It's always brings joy, like always. So check out Lainie's website, LainieHodges.com, LainieHodges.com. Go get yourself some improv somewhere. Add that to your life and go check out Double Your Business on Amazon.com or anywhere that you love to order your books. It's on all online retailers. And thank you, Lainie, for being here. I'll talk to you all next week.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn the step-by-step process to welcome more money into your life, go to manifest10k.com.